deserve better. We are saying to New York, hey, hey, ho, ho, fast food has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, fast food has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, fast food has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, fast food has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, fast food has got to go.
Welcome to One Brooklyn, presented by Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams. On this edition of One Brooklyn, Brooklyn Borough President Adams joins with the New York City Healthy School Food Alliance, advocates, parents, and students with a walk across the Brooklyn Bridge to City Hall, calling on the city to implement changes to school nutrition. Schools are just not doing enough to provide proper nutrition and nutritional education programs to students, especially those in low-income areas. According to the CDC, approximately 13.7 million young Americans between 2 and 19 are obese in the United States. And fewer than 10% of children nationwide eat the recommended daily allowance of vegetables. That's why Borough President Adams marched across the Brooklyn Bridge, calling on the city to provide more freshly prepared meals, culinary and nutritional education, gardens at every school to teach kids how to cultivate food, and longer times for lunch so students have the proper time to eat their meals.
Healthy food.
All the way through high school and even colleges. We're having conversations with our colleges. We're bringing in our doctors, our cardiologists, our nutritionists. We're bringing everyone in to actually start re-educating our healthcare system to have a conversation about this. The nurses in school. Healthcare can't be an extension of the pharmaceutical company. Healthcare must be wellness. And so we are looking for all of our schools to embrace this: private, public, district schools, and charter schools, parochial schools as well. We want everyone to be on the same message that our children must be healthy.
The borough president's voice wasn't alone in calling on the city to implement changes to school nutrition.
I want to thank our partners and our champions, Borough President Eric Adams, Council Member Rafael Espinal, Balanced, Hip Hop is Green, Green Beats, Haley Thomas, and the Happy Organization, the True Health Initiative, and the Courageously Curvy Girls Foundation. Thank you all for everything you do for our children every day. I think we're all here because we care about our children. And quite frankly, our children in New York City are in crisis. 1 in 5 kindergarten children in New York City is obese. 1 in 4 Head Start children. Children as young as 8 years old are on cholesterol-lowering and blood pressure-lowering medication. And 50% of children under the age of 15 have fatty streaks in their arteries, the first signs of heart disease. In the United States, we spend $1.72 trillion on healthcare costs related to the obesity epidemic. That's 10% of our gross domestic product. But the statistic that stayed with me the longest was the one from the New England Journal of Medicine that showed that this is the first generation of children who may not outlive their parents because of disease related to obesity. Now, you might wonder, what does school food have to do with all of this? Well, actually, it's quite a lot. New York City feeds 900,000 children a day, and children spend over 6 hours a day in school and consume over half of their calories in school. So in my mind, when an organization is responsible for feeding 1 million children a day, half of their calories a day, there's a legal responsibility, if not a moral responsibility, to ensure that the food that they're feeding our children is not feeding the health crisis. And yet that is exactly what New York City is doing. Every day in lunchrooms across the city, you will find fast food. Mozzarella sticks, chicken nuggets, hamburgers, Tostitos branded beef-filled taco bowls, pizza. Highly processed fast food built by a big food system that does not care about the health of our children, but only cares about lining their pockets. The dangers of highly processed food have been highlighted in a slew of recent research showing a direct correlation between processed food and chronic illnesses, including cancer and cardiovascular disease. It is also worth noting that when you introduce highly processed foods at a young age, we're setting children up for a lifelong struggle with disease. They think that mozzarella sticks are food, and they're not. And because 2/3 of children in New York City who eat lunch have to eat lunch at school. They cannot bring lunch from home. They can't afford to. School food is also an equity issue. And equity is a word that our chancellor likes to throw around quite a bit. And to his credit, he has improved equity in the middle school application process and is working to do so in high schools. But we're dropping the ball on school food. And make no mistake, if you take one thing away from this rally, remember that school food is about equity. The health crisis hits low-income families hardest because their children don't have the option to bring lunch from home. They have to eat the processed food served at school. And when you take a closer look at school food, you see even more inequity. Why do some schools serve the alternative menu, which serves 2 homemade meals a week, but others do not? Why do some schools serve chocolate milk sweetened with 20 grams of sugar, but other schools do not? Why do some schools have gardens or grow towers where children can learn to grow their food and develop a relationship with the earth, and others do not? Why do some schools offer robust nutrition education so kids can understand the importance of the choices they put in their body, and others do not? And how can any of our children eat their lunches when they only have 6 to 8 minutes to do so? We are setting our children up for a lifelong struggle with diet and disease, instead of giving them the best food toolkit possible. These are the questions that led me to form the New York City Healthy School Food Alliance in October. We are a group of parents, doctors, nutritionists, wellness leaders, activists, and amazing elected officials. We are here today at the first ever March for Healthy School Food to demand that the mayor and Chancellor Carranza seize the opportunity to become leaders in the school food movement and revolutionize the way we feed our children in New York City. We can no longer sit back and wait for another generation of children to get sick. The time is now. We must act now. We have developed a plan to revolutionize school food and to save the next generation of children from diet-related disease. To explain our plan, I have with me my daughter, Emily Weiner, someone who knows school food better than most of us because she eats it every day at PS 261 in Brooklyn. Here's Emily.
Thank you, Mommy. I'm very excited to be here today. My mom and her team of advocates have come up with a 4-part plan to revolutionize school food and put the health of all children first. Yes. First, you have to change the food. Right. We don't want any more fast food. We want real homemade food made from scratch by real people, not factories. All kids deserve this, not just those who have packed lunch from home. Second, we want hands-on nutrition and culinary education. I loved the food detective workshop my mom brought into our school from the Beecher Foundation. We learned to make veggie chili and read food labels. I read labels all the time now. I will have that tool with me for my entire life. All kids deserve these tools. Third, give all kids a garden to grow food in. I get to water snap peas and take care of strawberries at PS 261. We love our garden. All kids should have one, not just those schools with enough PTA funding for it. The final change is to give us more time to eat our lunches and play at recess. Right now, I never have time to eat my lunch. We're always rushed through recess, which is not long enough. I'm starving by the end of the day. Let us eat for a full half an hour and run around for a full half an hour before you put us back into a classroom. I think you will see the results in better grades and behavior. Mayor de Blasio and Chancellor Carranza, if you make these 4 changes, you will be giving us us kids a real chance to live our best lives. You will be giving us the next generation the chance to make us healthy, strong, empowered, and ready to take on the world. Thank you. Now back to my mom.
Thank you, Emily. All right, so you heard it from the mouths that get fed every day. You know, when I told people I wanted to change school food, I got a lot of, yeah, good luck with that. You know, they said, school food is too big, it's too entrenched, you can't do it. But I am here to tell you that we can, and we are, and we will. Make no mistake, but it's not going to happen overnight. This is not a quick fix because the issue, this is not a small problem. It will take time. What we need is strong leadership and abundant transparency. We need to see the baseline Center for Good Food Purchasing assessment of the Department of Education, which the mayor's office refuses to share with advocates. Let's have it, and let's work together to ensure this city adopts good food purchasing program and legislates for it, just like they did in Boston, Oakland, LA, Chicago, and DC. New York is way behind. We need a director of food policy in the mayor's office. Barbara Turk is no longer there. Who's taking over for her? And 2 years ago, Dennis Barrett left the Office of Food and Nutrition Services. That organization has been without an executive director for 2 years. Luckily, we do have some visionary elected officials on our side. Borough President Eric Adams, Council Member Raphael Espinal, as well as Helen Rosenthal, Mark Traeger, Ben Callos. But as my good friend Eric Adams says, we are on the Titanic and we are sinking. We cannot rearrange the deck chairs. It is time to fix this hole. To begin repairing our food system, tomorrow I will be calling on the mayor and Chancellor Carranza to request a meeting, and we will once again demand that our children's health and welfare be prioritized. Together, we hope to build a concrete roadmap to get there with city officials. And now it is my pleasure to introduce you to my greatest champion, the greatest champion of our children, someone who has put healthy children and the health of our city first always, Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams.
Thank you so much, Andrea, your daughter, and all of our partners, and a lot of the children who are here. The Courageously Curvy Girls Foundation is here with us as well. Hip Hop is Green is here with us as well. And if I'm missing some of the organizations, just feel free to call out your organization that's here. Green Peace? Beach. Green Beach. I love my beach. Fan for Kids. The Happy Org. District 13. So, you know, it's going to continue to grow. And what's important here is the impact of our children, allowing them to be part of this movement as we look at this, because this is their fight. This is their civil rights fight. This is their movement that they must be very much a part of. I was so happy when Andrea had her daughter talk firsthand. I don't sit in a public school. They do. They know what they're being fed. They know what is happening in their recreational periods. They know that they're not getting what they need to be nutritional and sound. These children are smarter than we think they are. Matter of fact, they can fix the mess that we have created. This is unbelievable when you look at the stats. 70% of our children have early signs of heart disease at the age of 12. That is one of the #1 killers of Americans. We are feeding a crisis for the future, and we're not willing to have a real conversation. These simple points that Andrea raised can really have a major impact on the health of our children. We need to wake up our parents who don't fully understand that asthma attack is connected to the food that your child ate the night, the week, the month before. That insulin injection is connected to the food that your children are eating. The obesity is connected to the food. It is not in their DNA, it's in their dinner, it's in their lunch, it's in their breakfast. And until we deal with those issues, our children are going to continue to have this crisis. We are feeding the health care crisis. This is not magical. You are not unhealthy because you are an American. You are unhealthy because you have an American diet that's filled with fat, sugar, and salt. And it is not real food. Ketchup is not a vegetable. These food-like objects that we see on our plate, my son constantly says, what is that? We can't even describe the food anymore. They're becoming more and more creative on the type of food that we are creating. We have gone so far from real food. So that's what this movement is about. This is a civil rights fight of making sure that children are healthy. And I just want to end with what Andrea pointed out that's so important. The equity issue. We have some communities that only have fast food. Come on, you can join me. You can ask your questions. Come on up. We have some communities that only are served fast junk food. There's some children in this city that they have no nutritional food or meals at all. They don't have it in the 2 meals that's served in school. They don't have it when they go home. They don't have it in the food establishments around them. They only have fast food. So you have some communities that have 0 nutritional meals at all. That will only lead to healthcare crises of the future. And if we don't deal with the equitable and the equity that's involved in this, then it's wrong. And so when I see communities from Park Slope saying, I'm concerned about the children in Brownsville, when I see communities from the Upper East Side saying, I'm concerned about the children in the South Bronx, when I see communities that are saying, I may be able to pack a healthy meal for my child, but it's not about my child, it's about all the children, then I say we are doing the right thing. And I thank you for that. Let's continue to uplift this city and uplift our children. You want to say something?
The fast food that people are eating have chemicals.
So true, so true. And so, Andrea, if I can, I want to bring on a partner who has been amazing around this conversation, a councilman who has pushed so many initiatives around food grown in schools, healthy lifestyles. He has been a real voice around this conversation, Councilman Espinal.
Thank you so much, Eric. I really appreciate being part of this fight. I want to thank all the advocates for putting today together and all the work you do on the ground. My name is Councilman Rafael Espinal, and I represent East New York and Brownsville and Bushwick, where we have some of the highest rates of diabetes and obesity, where those high rates are linked to the food that is being sold in our communities, but also being fed to the children in our schools. When I got into office, only 1 school out of the over 30 schools that I oversee was serving an alternative menu. 1 school. In the past 5 years, we changed that number from 1 school to 20 schools, working with wellness in the schools. You know, there's a big conversation around if we put healthy food in our schools, that our children won't eat it. But if we put the education with the food component, we will see those numbers goes up. And we have a real deep fundamental issue with the DOE. And it's that they reward schools that serve more food instead of rewarding schools that are giving out healthy foods. And that has to change. I'm a partner in this fight. I'm going to continue working with you, making sure this is possible. Join us this week. We have two very important days of action. On Tuesday, working with the Borough President, we're trying to expand urban gardens across the city to increase food access. 11 o'clock at City Hall. And on Wednesday, we're fighting for wellness coordinators in every single school in the city to make sure that all schools have equitable access to healthy foods and meals. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Wow, I feel very optimistic and hopeful right now. Thank you, Councilmember Espinal. And talk about optimistic and hopeful. We have an 18-year-old here today, Haley Thomas, who is, first of all, introduced me to Instagram. Thank you very much. She is a Jamaica-American international speaker, a youth health activist, vegan food and lifestyle influencer, and the youngest certified integrative nutrition health coach in the United States. And when she was 12 years old, she founded her own nonprofit, Happy. Please welcome Haley Thomas.
Thank you so much. I am so honored to be here today, and I briefly wanted to share how I got started and why it is so important for our young people to be informed about the foods that we are putting into our bodies. When I was around 8 years old, my dad was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and this is common amongst American households. But my family took it upon ourselves to look into the medication that he was prescribed, only to find that there were side effects like internal bleeding and death. So clearly this was not a path to healing or reversal. And that's when we took it upon ourselves to completely reverse his condition with a change of our lifestyle. Now, what was so unique about this process is that our parents included us. As a family, we would sit on the couch and documentary night looked like watching Forks Over Knives or Food Inc. And this in itself, learning this knowledge at a young age, empowered me to not only fuel my body, but also take this information outwardly to my peers and to my community. This is what happens when our young people are taught about health and nutrition. In not one class that I have taught, not one cooking demo, not one summer camp, have I not seen tens of kids coming up and saying, how can I help my mom? How can I help my dad, my sister, my cousin, my best friend deal with their health issues? One funny story actually is when I was just learning about this, I went up to a parent and said, wow, I'm learning all about reading food labels and factory farming and all of these things. And she said to me, ignorance is bliss. No. Ignorance and avoidance is the allowance of systematic oppression through food. And we cannot allow that. Not only is it oppressing our youth and the potential to thrive, but it is oppressing our society as a whole. These young people here today, they are the ones who are going to make this change with their friends, with their families, and take it home and make it fun and make it exciting. And I'm so proud to be amongst multi-generations of people who are empowered and excited to bring this education, bring this access to all communities, because we see this all over the country. There's so much lack of accessibility. And through our nonprofit, we work to not only bring fun and exciting nutrition and culinary education that is plant-based, but also show our youth that they are leaders, and that can start within their own health and within their own selves, and that can always extend outwardly into creating a movement beyond our wildest dreams. So I want to thank you all so much for having me.
Thank you, Haley. I am now really excited to bring up Hip Hop is Green's Doc Beasley. Doc is the New York City chapter for Hip Hop is Green, the first plant-based multimedia hip-hop organization on the planet, dedicated to raising awareness of health and wellness among young people in a flavorful and digestible and super fun way. Everyone meet Doc.
Mic check, 1, 2. Okay, one thing that's very important with hip hop is call and response. So I need you all to repeat after me. Healthy food.
Healthy food.
I like it.
I like it.
I love it.
I love it.
I need it.
I need it.
Kids gotta eat it.
Gotta eat it.
Healthy food.
Healthy food.
I like it.
I like it.
I love it.
I love it.
I need it.
I need it.
Kids gotta eat it.
Kids gotta eat it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Give yourselves a round of applause. Right here beside me, I have 3 of my biggest reasons why I'm in this fight. Shakran, Rob Prince, and namaste. These are my children who are actually in New York City public schools. And just like many of your children, these are the reasons why it's important that we continue to work together and find creative ways to make a difference. With NYC Hip Hop is Green, we focus on 6 pillars. We focus on plant-based eating, organic gardening, fitness, animal rights, food justice, and sobriety. And it's key because right now in New York City, we have kids going to school drinking energy drinks and eating hot Cheetos for breakfast. And school has now become a front line to where we can change this. You've heard it better than what I can say from the children who actually go to the schools, from our advocates. We know what the issues are. We need to make sure that we raise our voices loud enough so that the lawmakers and the legislators in Albany and everyone can hear what we're doing and can make a change. So give yourselves a round of applause. You all are superheroes. Let's make some noise for the children that are here. And let's continue to fight the good fight. Love yourself first and most. Peace.
Clearly, Doc should have been leading the chants. Next year, for sure. The Coalition for Healthy School Food has been a partner of the New York City Healthy School Food Alliance since day one. And I am really excited to bring Kelly Wind up here to talk to you about their organization, which is the reason why New York City actually has a vegetarian menu now being served in 4 schools. Please welcome Kelly Wind.
Thank you, Andrea. At the Coalition for Healthy School Food, our motto is hungry kids need healthy food. Not just any food, but healthy food. And I'm proud to say that we have seen a lot of progress. There now is 4 schools that have a vegetarian menu, and New York City is the only district in the country, that offers public schools a vegetarian menu. Processed meat is being banned. There is hummus every day for every school. There is water jets in most schools, salad bars, and beef is being reduced by 50%. So I know that the mission is possible in New York City. Without a doubt, this is the place that it can happen. Now is the time for nutrition education to be at the lead. Nutrition education that is evidence-based and not industry influenced. And it should not be up to parent advocates like Andrea, or principals, or your guidance counselor, or your teacher, or your borough president to make sure that schools have nutrition education. It should be in every school. Yes. Every school needs to have a wellness coordinator. Yes. And that's why we urge the City Council to support Councilman Espinal and fund wellness coordinators in every school. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. When I started the New York City Healthy School Food Alliance in October, at my first meeting, this amazing parent came, Ayana Baheen. She is the president of District 13 and mother of 2 public school children, and she herself is also a product of New York City Public Schools. Please welcome Ayana.
Thank you so much, Andrea. Thank you, Borough President and Council Member. Thank you, children and parents, for being here. Hi, CEC 13. So Community Education Council 13 is a parent organization where we use our voices to amplify parent voices in our district. And the parents in our district are calling for the city to give our students healthy school lunch. Everybody has heard what the speakers before me have said about how it makes a difference in their the life outcomes, their health outcomes, how it makes a difference in their school days and their test scores and their grades. So that's not an argument, right? And the argument that, kids don't want to eat healthy food is simply not true. My kids love string beans and all kinds of vegetables and fruit and whole foods because I feed that to them and I try to make it in a way that's delicious. It's not hard, it's definitely doable. So I'd like to say, the people who are working in the Office of School Food are not the enemies of healthy school food. The cafeteria workers are not the enemies of healthy school foods. They're doing the best they can with the limited resources they have. So we're calling on the city to give them more resources, to give them a path around the current legislation that forces them to buy food from factory farms and food that is not whole or healthily made. So that's what we're asking for, healthy school food. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ayana. Bree Blank Alexander is a health and wellness influencer, and she created her platform, Bree Healthy, after successfully losing 150 pounds in a natural way. Her goal is now to inspire people around the world to live healthier lifestyles and to love themselves throughout it all. Please welcome Bree.
Hello everyone, thank you so much. I am so happy to be here today. The energy is amazing and I love to see so many people out here fighting for healthy school food because we really can make a difference together. I want to tell you a little bit about my story. I was overweight my entire life. I grew up eating whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. At home, my parents did not like to cook, so takeout was normal, and then when I went to school, there was no guidance for me then either to make better school food decisions. So with that being said, I continued to grow up and I continued to gain weight linearly until I was 19 years old when I decided to step on a scale and I saw that I was 306 pounds. At 19 years old, and I'm 5'2", this was the defining moment that made me know I need to do something. I need to make a change for my health. So I researched healthy foods I could eat at my college's dining hall, and I counted my calories, and after a little under 2 years with exercise and motivation and dedication, I successfully lost 150 pounds. Thank you so much. And then I realized that my biggest goal in life is to help inspire other people to live healthier lifestyles. And that is exactly what we are all here doing today. Now, when I was in middle school, I remember that my school lunches, we had big egg salad sandwiches filled with mayonnaise on giant white buns with a bag of chips on the side. And with some extra lunch money that my mom gave me, I went and bought extra snacks to have on the side. And I ate the entire thing. And I still could have eaten more after that. But there was nobody to guide me. Where was the nutrition education in the schools to tell me that this was not okay? Where were people telling me that I should eat fruits and vegetables because they could help me to live a better life? Now, I know I stand for everyone when I say these things. I want kids today to have a better chance at life than I did. I want kids to have a better chance to understand how food can help them. I want kids to know that foods have health benefits, that they can make them feel good and perform better in gym class and on their sports teams, and that it can help them to do better in class. I want kids to fall in love with fruits and vegetables the way that they love candy and treats. I want kids to love themselves and eat healthy because it makes them feel good. I want kids to be able to grow their own food and experience how amazing it feels to eat the product of their hard work and something that they can truly have a positive relationship with. I want kids to have longer lunch times so they don't have to scarf down their food, not being present and mindful with every bite. And I want kids to have long, happy, healthy lives, and that we can change the future of school food forever. So making the world a healthier place is my biggest goal, and I know that together we can make a difference, no matter who says we cannot. We are all here today on a Sunday afternoon at City Hall, and we are here. We are going to change the future of school food together forever. all so much. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, Bree. That was great. Here's your. Oh, thank you. That was beautiful. That was so beautiful. Thank you, Bree. Hang in with. We have a couple more great speakers. I want to bring up Audrey Sanchez, the founder and executive director of Balanced, a public health and nutrition advocacy organization. Audrey is a mother and a former public educator, and she is committed to helping anyone, anywhere improve the health of their families or communities by fighting for healthier food in places that matter most. Please welcome Audrey Sanchez.
Oh, thank you, Andrea, and thank you all for being here. This is beyond incredible. Like Andrea said, I am here today as a mom and as a former public educator. And I am here with my daughter, you can see. But I'm not fighting for just her. I'm fighting for all of my students. Every single third grader that I loved, all the children here today. Because I believe if we want a healthier future for our kids, if we believe they deserve that, then there is no such thing as other people's children. There is only our children. And I want for every child what I want for my child, which is a life that is purposeful, that is healthy, that has meaning, and that is free from the burdens, the economic, the social, the physical burdens of diet-related disease. And I know that's possible because diet-related disease is not inevitable. It is absolutely preventable. We have the opportunity by changing institutional menus to prevent these sort of diet-related diseases that cause our families to suffer now and will long into the future. And I know it's really hard to imagine our children decades from now, but the scary thing is, diet-related disease starts in childhood. We do not wake up as 60-year-olds with spontaneously clogged arteries. This is a problem that happens, that is cumulative, and it takes decades to develop. And for a long time, parents have bore the burden of this blame, almost exclusively. But I don't know a single parent who doesn't want healthier food for their kids. I don't know one. I talk to hundreds, thousands a year. Every single one of them wants the same thing. This is not an issue of want. This is an issue of accessibility. This is an issue of being able to. And when I think about an institution like the New York City public school system, I think about the privilege and opportunity that institution has, but also the responsibility they have responsibility they have to make sure they're not serving 900,000 children every day foods known to cause disease. That is unacceptable. Our children deserve better. It is what I want for my child. It is what I want for all children. And I feel so honored to stand up here and fight this fight alongside all of you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Audrey, for your inspiration and for your stickers also. Jennifer Lutz has dedicated her work to wellness. Oh wait, we're not up to Jennifer. Sorry, skipped ahead. Chef Thomas Stevens comes up next. Thomas is a Bronx native and the founder of the Fresh Start Initiative. Thomas has been teaching kids how to grow, shop for, cook, and eat food for nearly 20 years. Chef Thomas currently works in the South Bronx teaching urban gardening, cooking, and culinary literacy, and has developed a culturally relevant plant-based curriculum to be used in schools from preschool to high school. This is the man in schools right now teaching our kids how to cook and how to eat and changing the future. Please welcome Chef Thomas Stevens.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. So Andrea said almost everything I was going to say. But really, I'm really honored to be here. I'm a private chef, and I'm the founder of the Fresh Start Initiative. I've been cooking since I was about my daughter's age, maybe a little younger, since I was about 4 years old. My mom cooked, my whole family cooked. I come from a family of cooks. My grandmother was a cook, a head cook in a school, and they cooked from scratch. But that didn't, like many other people, prevent her from passing away from diabetes. I realized at that point, as I was becoming an adult when this happened, that there was something very important missing. The Fresh Start Initiative is here to bring food literacy to schools. Schools are for education, and we're missing a key thing. We're missing food education, food literacy. The Fresh Start is bringing that through culinary skills, but also through food literacy, urban gardening, and reconnecting our children to real food. We're here to meet the people where they are. We're ready for healthy school food, but we need to prepare our children for that. We have to meet them where they are and reset their minds and their palates as we prepare for this transition. The Fresh Start Initiative is here to do that. I'm really honored. There's much work to be done, and I'm just really happy to be doing this work alongside all of you great people. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. Jennifer Lutz from the True Health Initiative has been working in wellness for decades. She's worked at the Harlem Children's Zone. She's worked in Kenya and Spain to improve health policy. She now serves as the director of the not-for-profit organization, the True Health Initiative, a coalition of over 500 world-renowned health experts using evidence-based fundamentals of lifestyle as medicine. THI works to change policy, change minds, and improve lives. Please welcome Jennifer Lutz.
Hi. I speak on behalf of over 500 world-renowned health specialists when I tell you the food we are feeding our children in New York City schools is feeding the health crisis. Every day, schools pile plates with products disguised as food that we know will rob years from our children's lives. There is no debate. We know processed food leads to weight gain. We know added sugar leads to type 2 diabetes. And we know that excess saturated fat leads to heart disease. We also know that this problem disproportionately affects lower income neighborhoods. Whereas in New York as a whole, around 30% of children are overweight or obese, which is far too much. To Harlem, for example, over 40% of school-age children are overweight or obese. We also know that for too long, we have pretended this problem is too big to solve. But it's not too big to solve. New York City Healthy School Food Alliance has a plan. And I am standing here on behalf of True Health Initiative, on behalf of over 500 global health experts to tell you their plan is evidence-based, will save lives, and will help relieve our society from the crippling debt of food-related chronic illness. We are growing sick children, and we are teaching them to be sick adults. And we are pretending like there is nothing we can do about this? That doesn't make sense to me. New York City is the capital of the world. And we want to say that we can't feed our own children healthy food? My grandfather taught me, if something doesn't make sense, it's probably a lie. This doesn't make sense to me. Thanks.
To close out our program today, I am honored to welcome Donna Perry, the founder of the Courageously Curvy Girls Foundation, a Brooklyn-based nonprofit whose mission it is to combat child obesity in girls of color from underserved communities by empowering them through health, wellness, physical activity, advocacy, community service, and scholastic achievement. Donna's mission is to create innovative ways to restore equity in our school lunch program through wellness education and school lunch reform. I am really honored to welcome Donna Perry.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? All right. So first to my new friend and sister in this fight, Andrea Strong, thank you so much for your fearlessness in organizing this rally and march today so that we could collectively bring attention to an age-old issue that in some way or another has impacted us all. And that issue is school lunch. To all of our other activists and to our health professionals and advocates that I have been blessed to share this microphone with, thank you for your steadfastness and your commitment. And to you, our parents, and more importantly, our children, our students, the reasons why we do what we do. You are our reason, you are our why, and you are worth this fight. So we've already heard the statistics about childhood obesity. I was one of them. I kind of still am, in a way, kind of, sort of. Don't judge me. But anyway, I grew up in the New York City public school system. I am a daughter of the New York City public school system. My highest weight 8 years ago was 398 pounds. And with the help of medical intervention, I can proudly say that I've maintained about 170-pound weight loss. I am the mother of Anaya and Ava. I am the wife of Nathaniel. I am the daughter of Roz and Donnell. But more importantly, I am a parent. I am you. And so we've heard about the effects of unhealthy food on the overall health of all of our children. But let's just consider this, if you will. As of a recent report, over 100,000 children that attend New York City public schools either live in shelters or are classified as coming from homes that are food insecure. That means that for many of our children, school breakfast and lunch will be the only sources of a nutritious meal that they will receive. Not to mention the fact that most of these children reside in Black and brown communities. Simply put, the same communities that struggle with reading and math scores are the same communities where our children not only come to school hungry, but they go through their day hungry and unable to concentrate in the classroom. This should not and it cannot be. Food and the decision to serve healthy food to our nation's and city's most vulnerable population, our children, should not be this hard. I mean, at the end of the day, it's simply food. One of my mentors has always told me that education is the key out of poverty. And so that is very true. Education definitely is the key out of poverty. However, our children must be equipped with the basic tools that are needed to break the generational curses and odds of poverty that are stacked against them. Healthier school lunch is one of those crucial tools, and healthy school lunch should not be determined by a child's zip code. Our children are our future, and we owe them this fight. If we can put a man on the moon, if we can elect our first Black president, Barack Obama, as of yesterday, we figured out a way to have a field trip to Mars at the cost of $50 million for the 1%, then surely we can figure out a way to feed our children. So, if you are with us, we encourage you to get your political leaders in process. Get them in line. You voted for them, let them know that our mayor asked for mayoral control. Well, mayoral control consists of top-down leadership and bottom-up accountability. Hold the people that you have voted into office accountable. You pay your taxes. You deserve healthier school food for your children. They do it everywhere else in every other country. There's no reason why New York City, that is the leader in everything else, cannot be the leader in how we feed our children. Thank you so much. I'm in this fight with you. Have a great day. Thank you.
Wow. Donna, amazing. Okay, I know that it's late, but I have one more person who wants to share news about the Garden Train initiative in New York City. Miriam?
Hello everyone, it's awesome to see all these great people, CC13 and everyone else, and the great Andrea who is leading this fight. It's fantastic for all our children. I just want to tell you, she's amazing. When I received the first email from her, I jumped on my seat because my kids, they go to school. I have 5 kids, they go to public school, and we need to look all the time at the ingredients because we need to eat halal, and the schools do not serve halal. So my kids are always with the peanut butter sandwich or with the mozzarella stick. They cannot eat the meat, etc. So when I received her first email, I jumped. I was like, oh my God, it's happening, finally. Bon, okay, my little one is here. She can tell you, if you eat well, you run well. Go ahead, tell them. Fast.
I'm a national national runner, and
eat well, you run fast.
I eat very good food like vegetables and fruits.
Mostly vegetables and fruits.
Yes. And I'm a very good runner.
Yeah.
Okay, just an example. This is my baby, my number 5. So the initiative about the garden trains, look into your schools in all the CCs. Here I'm with my CC president and Cynthia. We are CC13. We copied District 15 who created the first, that's Andrea Strong. District 15 created their first garden train, meaning each school has to have a garden. Even if you start by pots, okay? But you show the kids how to comment dire, seed the coriander and the parsley and put it in the salad, etc. So go back to your schools, create a garden, and I know that there is District 13, District 15, District 3 is start a garden train in your district. That's all I want to say. And be behind Andrea. She's doing great things for all the kids. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for being here for the first ever March for Healthy School Food. I would like to say that this will be the last, probably not, but we are going to be here for the fight in the long haul. If you want to get involved and stay involved, please visit our website and do all that social media stuff that I mentioned before. And we'll see you at City Hall. I'll try and be there this week. Thank you.